Hello again, guys. Welcome back. I'm back again with another video. I don't know why the dogs are barking. I'm just gonna continue make this video because honestly, like, I can't stop doing this video. So last time I made a video about miracles, as well as and fairy tales, whether do they exist, and I realized I've left some download because they felt so unreal. And I already, like, most of the time whenever I'm channeling, most of the download that I get, they look so unreal. Like it it sounds like I'm crazy or something. So I tend to hold back some information because of that. But I feel like this is it, because I can't. There's a reason why I was receiving them, because I had to share them with others. And also, I'm also learning from this. I'm also learning to be honest, so honest with a lot of things that I actually receive. And I do know that my content is not for everyone, because it's not for everyone. I'm not expecting anyone to agree with me, but eventually people who are meant to gravitate toward my content will gravitate. So last time I've left a lot of things regarding miracles and fairy tales, and also use reference that I was guided to do, the road less travel. And I got a lot of download, yes, and eventually I've let a lot out. So whenever I'm channeling, I realize that most of the time I'm very detached with the 3D mentality. So I tend to gravitate toward 5D, uh 5D, whereby I'm able to channel a lot of things. Most of the time whenever I'm done listening to it, I'm like, what the fuck did I said? So most of the time, like, I feel like I'm disconnected with my body, so it's just my spirit channeling. And I also mentioned last time about us, we are capable of teleporting. It's just that okay, the reason why we're not able to teleport, especially, I mentioned that we are not living in one planet. As we are not living in one planet, and I mentioned that Earth is one of the slowest planet that we're actually existing on. And in another planet, we are capable of doing a lot of things. We all have superpowers. Listen what I'm saying. We all have superpowers, but because of the this earth that we're actually in, it's the slowest because of a certain vibration that we're vibrating on. And we had to go through healing. We have to go through purging. We have to let go of a lot of things that are actually heavy on our soul, because our soul tend to be something that we tend to ignore when we're in this planet. That's why we experience a lot of things that are actually low, and we experience a lot of low vibrational things such as depression, anxiety, feeling inadequate. All those feelings in other planet, we don't experience all of that, because we spirit, we are more of a spirit. And as much we have body in our another planet, our body, like, the vibration is not the same. The vibration that we're vibrating on this planet is very low. That's why light workers, people who have old soul, who are here on earth to raise vibration, they are helping other people to do the same, because we are ascending. We constantly pushed to heal. We are constantly pushed to do the inner work in order to be able to be the leader, to be able to lead other people, to show that how it's actually been done, and how other people can do, because sometimes that's what we also need. But they light worker, they don't have to force us to be healing whatsoever, they have to activate us to do the same. Because the last video I mentioned about a light worker that posted a picture of herself looking like a model, and I was finding myself, initially I was just admiring the pictures and all that, and she activated me to go back to working out, because that's what light workers do. Sometimes I had to hear their stories in order to be better. I had to find myself, because I still experience depression, right? As I still do experience depression, I tend to, sometimes I just need someone to tell me, like, I just need a confirmation that everything is gonna be okay. As much as I've done a lot, like in terms of putting myself in a better place, probably like exercise, so sometimes you just need the confirmation from someone, probably a psychic or whatsoever, or because sometimes we are connected to the point that some people can understand our emotion before we do. Sometimes we don't know what is exactly happening in ourselves until someone actually confirm that. So that's what I'm gonna talk about. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. And the reason why we're not able to teleport in this planet, I mentioned that it's a low vibrational planet. Not only that, our blood doesn't allow us to teleport. Yes, that was the craziest download that I didn't talk about last time. Our blood doesn't allow us to teleport, because our blood contains a lot of things within ourselves, and our blood is one of the things that whenever you got drain out of it, for example, if I drain you, the blood all in your body, obviously you're gonna die, and your spirit will be free. What I'm trying to say, a lot of things that are in our body that are actually liquid doesn't allow us to teleport. But obviously people can use witchcraft to teleport because Mother Nature gave us a lot of things, like a lot of things that we can heal from. And as much as we can heal from all of those things that are actually given to us, but people actually use such things in a wrong way. That's why most of the time people they tend to view spirituality as a demonic, evil whatsoever, because they lack knowledge, they are ignorant, and sometimes it's because they view it in terms of their trauma. For example, when I'm talking about view it in terms of their trauma, sometimes you saw someone doing witchcraft, and the way they were doing witchcraft, it was a dark witchcraft. It was not light witchcraft, whereby they're doing dark things to other people, and then you ended up having to protect ourselves, because we tend to protect ourselves when we don't know a lot of things. It's the same thing when we are falling in love with someone. We tend to protect ourselves, hide our part of ourselves, and then what happened when you don't know a lot of things, when you are ignorant. It's not because you don't want to learn, it's just that you choose to protect yourself. Our ego can be designed like that, to protect ourselves in any manner. So teleporting is something that we have access to. So, but most of the time we get that through witchcraft, because sometimes the witch can be here. Do you know that people who are doing witchcraft, they can be here with you in a room. They can be a fly. They can be a beetle. They can be those animals that tend to be not liked because they smell. They smell so badly. Like whenever you kill a beetle, it smell like it's small, and it's also associated, if I'm not mistaken, it also associated with they're usually around is it around shit, as well around dead bodies, or around those kind of things, because they smell. So a lot of people who are doing dark things, they tend to use those animals that are actually view as dead. But sometimes actually you can use they sometimes they can teleport and transform themselves in any animals. Like in South Africa, like I'm a South African, in Africa a lot of people do dark magic. They can teleport into other whatever. Sometimes they can use witchcraft to read your mind. what are you up to whatsoever. So I understand why a lot of people are running away from knowing the whole spirituality thing to be safe with religion, because sometimes religion, it gives you like safety. That's why a lot of people like, I prefer religion rather than spirituality, because spirituality is kind of deep, and it need a lot of you doing research on your own. And while religion is something that is already done, and it's something that is already prepared for you, you just have to read it and interpret it in the way that you can. But when we're doing spirituality, you are going your own path most of the time, especially spiritual path. You are going on your own path. You are allowed to do your own research. You are pushed to do things on your own. So I also mentioned, like, as much as one of the video I mentioned that narcissist one, I made a video back then where I'm talking about narcissist can be born too. The reason why I made that video, a lot of people in a spiritual community, as well as most of the therapists or information that I came across, they don't speak about much about the fact that narcissism can be inherited. As much as you can inherit a generational trauma, a generational wisdom, a generational whatsoever, because our ancestors, they didn't just give us trauma, they didn't give us just a curse, they also gave us wisdom. That's why most of the time also light workers, a lot of people used to gravitate towards you. You are the one who was open to actually share this information with them. They try most of the time. You, like, for example, I feel so dumb most of the time. The reason why I feel so dumb, I don't feel like I'm like, most of the time whenever I'm starting something, I feel like an amateur, like most of the time, like I don't feel like I'm capable of doing a lot. So I realize I actually, most of it, when someone need help from me, especially like advice whatsoever, my ancestors view portal for other people to be able to receive the information that they need to receive. So most of the time, spiritual healers, light workers, or whoever, even most of them, there was a time that I actually got advice from someone that I've never like thought I would actually give advice, but I know the person hate me. That how God works. Sometimes our ancestors work. Sometimes you're gonna get advice from your hater, because most of the time haters are people who will try to throw you off by giving you shit advice. But sometimes when you are someone who's actually protected by ancestors, God, and you need that advice, they can use it. There's someone who came to destroy you. There was a time in my life, okay, I mentioned that I had this awful friend, but somehow at the time, there was a time that they use her for the good time. They use her in a good way, to the point that I was actually like, I was like, how come she had so much wisdom about this kind of thing, but at the same time she was always horrible. So like that, it's a miracle to have be in the same place with someone that was sent to destroy you, and it ended up ended up helping you in a manner. Because sometimes God and our ancestors use the same people who are sent to destroy us, to give us the things that we were meant to receive at that time. It's the same thing. There's a guy, for example, there's a guy who actually confess about, not like confess, he was telling us about his story. He had his cousin was extremely hateful towards him, to the point that he hired a prostitute to sleep. The guy that was actually talking about his story, he didn't know that the woman that was actually hired was a prostitute, and that prostitute have HIV positive, was HIV positive. As she was HIV positive, his cousin bought that prostitute to infect him with HIV, as well as just to destroy him. He had a lot of time. Look, there are plenty of time he tried to destroy that guy. So what happened is, when the guy was meant to sleep with this prostitute, the prostitute just suggested to use a condom. And then he was like, okay. And then he had condom whatsoever, because the guy trusted his cousin's judgment, so he didn't think too much into it. So like he didn't put much into it whether he should use a condom or not. So he just trusted his brother, that his brother got his best interest, which was the opposite. So later on, the prostitute was sent to destroy the guy, but the prostitute had a conscience. Because the prostitute, as much as she is heartless or whatsoever, she came across someone who was actually kind. So one day the prostitute couldn't keep the secret anymore. She went and told this guy that the other day that your cousin sent me to spread HIV in you. So I'm telling you this because you're the most kindest person that I ever come across. Most of the time people treat me like I'm a disease whatsoever. So you were so kind to me, I couldn't allow myself to do what your cousin wanted me to do. So I'm telling you this because I want you to be aware, because I'm not the first person that he tried to buy. There are plenty of things that he had on his sleeve. For example, he tried by all means, like he even destroyed his car, but like because he didn't believe his cousin would go through that, So I'm talking about that. It's a miracle to be in a place where you are met with a lot of shit things that are actually happening in your life, and those people who are sent to destroy you, they tend to have a change of heart. Is someone that will never have a kindest heart. That what happened to me. Like most of the time, especially that with that ex-friend, there were plenty of time I used to ask myself, but that she was like this sometimes. She was like, I think that's why most of the time I was finding it hard to let her go. But anyway, okay, another thing, let me see. Oh, I also mentioned that we are not supposed to be working, which it can come across as stupid, because like this is something that we grow up knowing, which is something that we grow up being told that we have to go to university. Whatsoever. Have you ever sit down with yourself and wonder about all the things that are already prepared for you without you to having to navigate on your own? Like the school system is already created for you. You getting out of your school, you have to find a job. Everything is created. You don't have your way of thinking. You're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not allowed to do anything for or any manner that is out of concept. Every time when you're trying to do something that is different, you are being questioned, or maybe you are being viewed as crazy or sick or whatsoever. So this is another thing. We are not supposed to be working, but because they treated all of that, as much yes, we do need a job, we do need money whatsoever, but we are not supposed to be working, and we are also not supposed to be buying food. The reason why they want us to buy food, obviously it's for control. We are being controlled through food too. We are meant to be planting food for our own. We are meant to do things for our own. I get it, sometimes it's easy to buy food because it saves time. Just think about it, rice, like it saves time and whatsoever. But the fact that we have to move, and sometimes we are become stupid to the point that we view a city life as something that is better than a farm life. But at the same time, whenever we're moving to a farmland, it feels like farmland or farm life, or even if it's for a few days, we tend to feel more healthier than we do in a city life. Because sometimes we tend to even view because most of the time our parents or whoever lived before us, they tend to leave farm for us, but we tend to sell it because we find a small flat in a urban life, in a city life, and then we choose to settle, find struggling with living in that life, while we have a huge land back home that we can use to plant, that we can use to trade more things on it. We are being programmed to let go of a lot of things that are actually healthy for us because they want us to be sick. When we are sick, we tend to not be able to do things that we are meant to be doing. We tend to forget our soul mission. That's why they want us to forget our soul mission. We are called for something. As we are all called for something, we tend to forget that because they treated a lot of things as if it easy, and that's why most of the time whenever you're leaving the school system, sometimes you have to be angry. I remember how angry I was whenever I finally woken up. I was so angry. I had a lot of anger within me because I couldn't, like, I felt so robbed. I felt like my life was robbed in any manner. I can talk about this like for a long time. So I plan to make this video be more shorter than the previous one. So thank you guys for liking, as well as for subscribing on my YouTube channel. I really appreciate, and as well as I'm available for donation. So bye.